knew my ears were
I
burning.
just did say, oh, but I can do that.
You look so good in jeans, ma'am.
Thanks.
Nice.
Hey.
So do you.
I missed the first part of that.
Oh, I should look at this because those are never right. Kim's just making
Exactly
copies
what they
of,
just did.
Oh, really?
And they said, so do you.
annual report. No Bob, no Bob.
Got it.
No Bob, no Bob.
I see.
Gil Hayes stopped in my office Monday, and since he was an alternate on report, you might want to know that he had surgery on his foot
Oh,
today.
but see, that's my question.
He had something last week, but they had to do something.
But, and that's my question too, right? So now he's on police commission, so he really doesn't have to put in a letter of resignation though, because
His term
Lewis,
expired.
his term expired and
He
Lewis
didn't
ran
know
in
that.
that position. He didn't know that?
for sure.
Okay.
He was gonna check with the town.
I'm pretty sure.
So yeah, that got a little confusing.
1 minute.
Bob will have to send you a resume.
He did.
Bob Maynard, Bob
Oh,
Maynard.
I'm sorry, wrong one.
Okay, well, okay, we're done.
Oh, electric.
Did she get? Oh, and here she comes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, it's 7 o'clock. Okay. So I would like to call this meeting to order, November 18th, 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Board of Finance. And number 3 is attendance appointment alternates, but we first have to vote in a temporary chair for this meeting until we get to the section of voting in the election office. So do I hear a motion for a temporary chair?
I'd like to make a motion to make Geraldine temporary chair of the meeting.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You did it, and then you're opposed. All right, motion clearly passes. All right, we also need to appoint alternates for the missing Board of Finance members. One being Bob Maynard, which we'll get to talking about appointing his position at the bottom, but right now we do need an alternate for that position in the motion. Either, well, we're gonna have to do 2, so pick Lewis or Paulette, whoever you'd like to make the motion.
Like it, we're gonna do
Do you want to try?
Both of them are gonna be in tonight,
It's
so
gonna
it
be
doesn't matter who
both
you
of us.
pick.
That's not fair. Louis, give you a try.
Okay. You're gonna make a motion to appoint Lewis as an alternate for Bob Maynard.
Thank you, yeah.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion clearly passes. Is there a motion to put Paulette in as an alternate to replace the position of Bob Little for this evening's meeting?
I make a motion to put in Paulette for alternate to replace Bob Little.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion clearly passes. Approval. Oh, is there any added agenda items?
Yes, I would like to add a agenda item to item 9B.
Okay.
I'd like to discuss the possibility of changing the meeting times from 7 to 7:30.
Okay, and we don't have to add that because we are discussing the meeting dates and times, so we'll just do it at that time when it comes up. Perfect. Okay, we don't have to make a motion for that one. All right. Approval of minutes of October 21st. Did everybody get a chance to read them?
We need,
I know some of them weren't here, some people were not here yet.
we need a motion before we discuss.
Yeah, so just-
Make a motion to approve the minutes for the members present, it says that Robert Little is there.
Who was absent?
Yes.
It's yours.
And on page
Yeah.
4, yeah, on page 4 is my name. I didn't know. You know, the reason why it's an issue is because people try to send me now to the wrong spelling, and then I don't get it, and I kind of miss it. Where the vote was on page 4. That's all I put.
You made the motion?
What's that?
That's okay. You don't know do this over you guys. Minutes.
It's at the very bottom, I think. Tripp, it's literally right before page 4, right? Tripp moved, Herb seconded.
There's another one in the middle.
Oh, okay. Yep. Middle of the end.
So truth be told, so.
Yep, it's okay.
No, wait, no, only one. H-E-R,
I have it right on mine.
Me too.
HCR is not. Is it right? It's on, this isn't right.
yes, it's right in some places.
Oh, there it is.
Find it?
Let the record show Mark. Herbs.
And on page 5, on the discussion.
So it's HERMS, not ES.
Yes.
So it's
When they talk about, when we talk about the discussion with the school, and it talks about the $800,000, and then, I think it's this, page 5, that discussion, the second sentence should clarify the end of the sentence, where it says August 2015. It should have it our fourth fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015, so people know that we're talking about past year. I don't think I have to put my line on this number.
It's on page 4.
So there's no place in there, it's just really,
basically it'd be.
It's this line right here. It says approximately 800,000 expenditures were submitted by the DOE in August 2015. She wants 4 fiscal year ending June 2015. Makes sense.
Any other discussion? So are we good with the meeting minutes as amended? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion clearly passes. Number 5, public participation. Let me just really quick, there's not a lot of you, but I'm gonna make it real quick. After last night, I feel I need to. Public participation is where the public speaks to us. We will not respond because we do want to come back to you with the accurate information. So please know that whoever you address is not responding to you out of disrespect. Please go back, get the right answer. We will have it for you. So would anybody like to participate in public participation? Stephen?
Steve Smith, 7 Cobblestone Drive. Kim is the charter of the town, and she considered chief financial officer of the town. First question. Second question. Now that there's been discussion at the prior board of selectmen last night, 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, we were talking about outsourcing of wetlands commission. Now, prior history, as I understand it, building inspector's department has been outsourced previously, and it's been brought back in. Given that, Kim, since you're considered chief financial officer, you do budgetary analysis on cost benefits. given that prior to the inspection, she's now experiencing it takes up to 30 days to get a permit done, could that not be revenue generated if that was approved through outsourcing on a faster turnaround? Question is there a way to do a cost benefit analysis to outsourcing the building inspector department? And would it give us an enhancement in revenue? Because you would be giving A, transparency, B, you'd be outsourcing, C, if you got a faster turnaround time, is there some kind of incentive to give the outsourcing contract?
We will research it for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Denise Bernard, 73 Miller Road. I'm here tonight, I offered to come to the treasurer because the expenses up to this date have been on my watch. So any questions that you would have on tonight's, financial information, I would probably be able to help if something that I did that, although we pretty much see eye to eye and agree and work very closely together, if there was something that she was like, you should have done that, I don't think there is, but I'm here to help as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, communicate, oh, I'm sorry, Bob.
Bob Lees, 39 Church Street. I just want to welcome our re-elected members and our newly elected members, Luis Valdez, Jimenez, and Bill Sy. And saying that, I'm disheartened to not see Sharon Victor. I thought she did a great job as Bill Sy. And I wish her good.
Thank you. Jason?
Jason Bowser, 34 Rye Street. I'm going to echo Mr. Leach's comments and just wish you all the best of luck over the next 2 years. I am very excited about the new members who are on the board. It's nice to see some familiar faces back, and I think that your role is going to be very significant for the town, and I look forward to working with you folks and being a resource any way that I can.
Thank you. All right. Any communication? All right, so we're good. On to monthly reports. Did everybody get a packet?
I spoke with
Yeah.
Bill and Louis.
And I gave Louis his, so
Bill
he
has
had
his
it.
packet now. I
And
kind
him-
of explained it.
Yeah, and him and I talked about, you should all be getting town emails, those of you who do not have town emails, and she is going to try to work on that to get it as soon as possible with the, computer company. So, would you just, need Louis to, okay?
So the reports that you get monthly, the tax collectors, it was a fairly quiet month for her, but she's still on target to reach all of the budget goals. She ramped up motor vehicle collections. She's using a couple of marshals to collect motor vehicle taxes, and I think she's working on now real estate, possibly doing some taxes on delinquent real estate. So she's doing a good job.
And to anybody, old and new members, if there's anything or clarifications, do not hesitate to stop us, do not hesitate to ask questions. And we'll be more than happy, or any of us, to try to help you if there's any spots that you're looking at, going, what the heck is that? So just don't ever hesitate. Sorry.
That's okay. We got the status report from Carol. As you can see, we're still embroiled in some real estate appeals. We're still working, we won the nursing home appeals, but they have appealed it to Superior Court. And they've also appealed the current year assessment as well, and we also have a new fairly large one, SJK Properties has appealed their 14 assessments on the lots that are actually, we're in a lawsuit with them over delinquent taxes going back to 2007.
Which one?
SJK Properties, it's an approved subdivision. The motor vehicle supplemental list is in, but they're still pricing the vehicles, so we don't have an exact
we gonna know are we gonna get more detail on that, like who she audited, what they found?
Yes, I asked her for a complete listing. Right now, she's in the process of, she has notified everyone, and she's actually working really well one-on-one with the businesses, to make sure they understand the process. She's still engaging back and forth. I have to say, from my experience, Carol's handling it a lot better than another assessor I used to work with. She's being as business-friendly as you can be through this process. And but you will get a complete listing of all the audit results, and the end result is there's going to be some income generated from it. So, would you like Carol to come and explain it to you? I would imagine by the next meeting. Her plan is for Patty to have the bills out to them in December, and we talked about how important it is to let them know about the interest penalty, because it's very severe. They're late.
I don't know that so much as we need or hear, I just kind of want to see it to know, because I, like I said, I have a little bit of a problem
Right.
with some of this, so I don't really think, you can be as friendly as you want, but, I mean, yeah, so,
It's
yeah, I
definitely
think I just kind of
good
want to
the
see it, I
results
want to
are-
see what they're finding,
Right.
because, you know what I'm saying, to see if it's,
Okay. Yeah, I think just make sure that she has the complete report.
Yeah.
Guys,
that would be good.
Just a quick question on the overall tax report. So on this sheet here, you so far has been what is up to date. And so I was just curious, how does it compare to previous years?
She's on track with last year. She could do a report if you would like, reporting year after year, but things really change to affect tax collection a lot, and depending on what kind of delinquencies you have out there, it's sometimes hard to really compare apples to apples, but Patty is on track to meet all her budget goals. Last year and the year before, we had a lot of delinquent taxes collected and surpluses for the past 2 years. As those delinquent taxes go away, the collection is actually going to go down, but it's a good thing because it's more fun collection.
It was amazing the amount of delinquent taxes that were collected over the last 2 years.
It's close to $1 million. Yep. But any kind of reports that you feel would be helpful to you, I definitely will pass it along to, Patty, Carol, and get it for you.
Anybody, any questions, concerns?
Yeah, what kind of tools and resources do we have that will help us to collect some of the delinquent taxes?
Well, Patty is very aggressive in collecting delinquent taxes. You can use state marshals. We actually now have a check scanner, so when we process all payments, we keep the checks actually in-house and just scan them to the bank. And she can do direct bank executions against checking accounts, which she's done. We do tax sales for property. It's not fun, but it's necessary, because a few years back, there really was a huge flood of delinquencies, and it's really being cleaned up. So everything that's available under state law is being used.
Thanks.
Which will go to our next discussion. About legal fees. And then this is, the last report is the general fund when we were faced with making all the transfers for the 2% budget, you very wisely as a board went and looked at what was spent last year and reduced budget lines where we thought we could. Zoning Board of Appeals is one of those. It's dependent on applications. Last year there weren't a lot. This year there's been a lot, and they've already exceeded the recording secretarial line. So I talked to Lori, and she feels like if 400 is a guess, but it's an educated guess, and it at least will get them through the next few meetings that they have. And there really is no place to pull it from other than contingency. This budget is streamlined as can be after we did those 2% transfers. I can't arbitrarily decide that another recording secretary line can be hit without.
Well, and it's an important board to have a good recording secretary,
Right.
and somebody on the board to keep notes.
So is this item number one, transfer number one, or?
Yep, it's transfer number 1.
So make a motion to accept transfer number one.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
Just that because there's no place else to take it, I get that we have to take it from it's, we have to be stingy with it.
Absolutely. What is it? It's November.
And I've already hit it a couple times.
November. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Alright,
Opposed? Motion clearly passes. And we're on to, I'm gonna guess Kim, it doesn't have a number, but this is number 2.
Actually, you know what, I think this is 2 and 3, because we did have a transfer last month. Like Cindy said, that happens, I did see, we had 1 transfer last month. So it's 2 and 3.
Okay.
Right.
So. We have to amend your law.
Just amended to transfer
Amend the
number 2.
motion to transfer number two.
For a second. Yep, okay. And discussion.
Okay. Now, were there many people?
Oh wait, we're just amending hers to make this number 2. We'll go on to that one. Okay. All right, all those in favor? Okay, motion passes. Now on to number 3. Is there a motion for number 3?
I make a motion to approve transfer number three.
Second. Now discussion. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay. Were there a number of people going to this class? Or just one of the
It's just one, the assistant tax collector Heidi, but it's an 8-week class. It meets weekly, and then there's an exam. She's going for her state tax collector certification. So, depending on where the class is held, Berlin is probably about 37 miles, 40 miles away. And they only hold 1 class throughout the state at a time in 1 town.
But she's going there 8 times.
Right.
That's the difference, because I think this is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and Patty just wanted to make sure that we have to pay their mileage by their clerical contract, and we have to reimburse them for mileage if they use it.
And it's still within her budget. She's just taking it
Yes,
from education.
she's
and
taking
putting
it
to
from
travel.
education and doing, changing it to travel license, so she can reimburse the mileage. The certification class is excellent, she just passed her exam with a 99. So,
Nice.
she's moving on to, I think there's 2 more classes she's.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
alright,
Opposed? Motion clearly passes.
And while we're in the transfer section, I do want to bring up my concerns about the legal line. We just paid October's bills, and we just got another extra bill for the tax office, so we're going to be over in the legal line next month.
All right, because I don't have those votes.
It was down to, and the report you just gave us, it was down to 10% off. There was some left in the legal regulations.
After we paid October, there's a balance of $1,318 in the town council, and there's a balance of $52,000 in labor relations. contracts have been settled, the clerical and police. The total cost for clerical over the past 2 years was about $17,000. We've spent about $4,000 on the dispatchers, which is the only open contract right now. So I'm assuming it's probably gonna go to about $20,000 because I believe it's heading to mediation.
Going to mediation, which should be a 1 day, so.
Well,
But do you think that the settlement will occur at that time?
I would think it will occur. If it doesn't, then it would go to arbitration. We might do a second, sorry. They might do a second mediation, but I think maybe they're coming to the realization that it can be settled.
So I'm thinking at this point, we could probably transfer about $35,000 comfortably from the labor line into the town council line. And that original budget was kind of like, let's just split it half and half and see what happens with all these contracts. I mean, getting the police contract settled so quickly was huge.
Well, that's awesome.
It was.
So transfer 35,000 labor line to,
Town council line. It's probably something we could do next month.
okay.
I just wanted to make everyone aware that it's definitely something we have to deal with. And depending on what happens down the line, we're probably gonna have to look to contingency starting.
But you don't want to firm the labor and get it this close to the actual value.
Right. Yeah, that's why I don't wanna do a
Sky
transfer
number,
yet.
so-
We're not there yet, but we will be next month. And I keep telling everybody to try to keep those. Before they. Yeah,
I don't know how well that will go.
But, just things happen. I have these, if you guys wanna take a quick look, or if I want me to make copies, just an analysis
Okay.
of the past 2 years. of
That would be
people's
good.
expenses.
We'll take copies and we'll do.
Okay, I'll give you copies
Okay.
later on, just so you'll be prepared for next.
are we looking forward to any more legal problems?
No,
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Are we
Are
sure
we ever
about
sure?
anything?
I mean,
I
we
plan on
talk
slipping and
about
falling
being,
apart on that.
I'll bet you're gonna have some.
we talk about being aggressive with tax collection, and one
We're
of
gonna
the
drop you in
things
South
that
Windsor and then down 911, so.
I mean, I would hope that, things will settle down, but if you never know, one of the things we're doing is a lawsuit from I don't know, Denise would know more about it, Kevin Saunders, defending the
He's
lawsuit
a
for
sovereign
him.
citizen and
Yes.
yes, he's sued.
I mean, those kind
So
of things,
we can't, we have to defend.
we have to defend them.
Nuisance.
And I think the biggie is that when you're collecting delinquent taxes, it costs a lot of money to get that money back.
Yep.
So,
I mean, most of them, thankfully, were handled either in strict foreclosure or through foreclosure by sale, and when it's foreclosure by sale, then all the attorney's fees are paid. So most of that $1 million in delinquent taxes has come to us without any legal fees at all. But when you have somebody who decides to sue the town, you gotta defend it.
Well, we have kind of an unknown.
Right, and that's really the only thing, other than the tax appeals, which are ongoing. I don't see any other huge red flags. So,
Years young.
I'm the optimist.
And you will learn that, it's the eternal optimist. And we go with it.
Yeah, we'll just go with it
We
now.
humor her. All right, number.
A question I meant to go when we were doing the reports
That's
about
okay.
the revenues. Do we know that there's any set revenue amounts that we're definitely not gonna get, like the?
We lost some school transportation money in the,
It sounds like there's gonna be more coming.
our school transportation was reduced to 58,000. We budgeted 107,000. And we know that the ECS money is gonna be short by 300,000, a little over 300,000.
Yeah, we are.
The Lions grant. So we are looking at state revenues are gonna be short, that's why we go out there, last year, we made up for the state deficit with tax collections, so. They are sent in the email, and I actually left copies in the
Alright, that brings us to number 8, which is unfinished business, but we kind of combine that in a little bit with legal fees, which we were gonna go over. Is there anything else in unfinished business from last time that you feel is still open right now? Can you have anything, or anybody else that was from last time? Okay, so nothing under unfinished. Now we're on to new business, we're on to election of officers. We need to elect a chairman, and we need to elect a secretary/vice chair. In this position, the only people who can vote and elect are not the alternates, so I'm sorry, Paulette and Lewis. I actually would think that you should, but it was brought to my attention that it's not supposed to, so. But, so do I hear any nominations for the chair?
I'd like to nominate Geraldine Purcell for the chairman of the board of finance.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Anybody else want?
Yeah, right.
Alright, all those in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion clearly passes. Is there a motion for the secretary/vice chair?
make a motion to nominate Kathy Pittman as secretary, vice chair for the board of finance.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
I
And opposed? Motion clearly passes. Congratulations, Kathy. All right, we are going to move on to 2016 meeting dates. Kim, did everybody get the printed out section of the meeting dates? Okay, so as always, third Wednesday of every month. All right, everybody good with that? I will tell you that July and August usually coincide with my vacations. But we'll see how it shakes out this summer. And a lot of times summer is light, so Kim and I talked about we can always move stuff around too if we don't have enough to discuss, and so we can talk about that. Lewis did want to discuss with everybody the meeting start time, so I will let Lewis discuss that with you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Other information, yeah.
Thanks.
I think it would be a good idea to bring the meeting up to 7:30 as opposed to 7 o'clock. It may seem like a small change, but I think it actually will have a big impact. I know there have been several times where, for example, I'll be leaving work right around 7 o'clock. And so I know there are many other individuals in this community that they may would like to attend these meetings, but maybe they're stuck at work or then they have to go back home and have dinner. So I think just bringing up an extra half hour will, I think, be a lot easier for a lot of us, especially those who work during the day, who may have sometimes unpredictable job schedules, and also maybe it will increase public participation. So that was just my thoughts and just my opinion.
Any discussion? I do want to reach out to Peg and Kim, because Peg, you are an integral part of this board, and we're not going to do it without you. So I first want to put, is that a time problem for you?
We just recently switched it from 7:30 to
Yep.
7.
Yep.
What it gets tough at is that the meetings sometimes go really long, especially when you get to the workshops and we've had sometimes that are really long, but if it's an issue of someone with a member, like yourself getting here, I think that, I don't have a problem with whatever time. If that's a problem that makes.
I mean, absolutely, 7 o'clock, I haven't seen much change in the audiences. I love 7 o'clock, but 7:30 is very tough.
starting January, for next year till 7:30. We can go from there if you'd like to try that out.
All right. All right, I'd like to make a motion to change the meeting time starting January 7:30.
For the remainder of the year. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Although we did it backwards, I guess. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Whoa. How many ayes? Louis was aye, Paulette was aye, Cindy was aye. Those opposed? Bill and Kathy. Wow. Motion passes, but not with a large margin, so, all right. Motion passed to 7:30. So, Kim, the subject that I was going to bring up to you that is still on the webpage at 7:30, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I'll just leave that be then.
All righty. Clerical contract update.
The Board of Selectmen approved the new clerical contract on Monday night. It still hasn't been signed by everyone in file, but I just want to give you a quick update. The clerical union has 17 members, so it's our second largest union in the town side. They agreed to, the entire union membership has agreed to switch from the higher cost PPO health plan to the high deductible HSA plan, which is, for any member who has the family plan, a savings of $3,700 to the town for each member. Most of the members have family plans, so it's a $60,000 savings in the first year alone. It was, I think, a huge win. They are going to get a 2.25% wage increase the first year, which is about $15,000 cost, because they're the lowest paid workers in town hall. The next 2 years, I believe it's 2.5, I don't have the contract.
I think it's 2.25, 2.25, and 2.5.
5 on the third year.
I think.
So the total cost of the raise is basically paid for the savings the first year. So it was a really good negotiation, and their cost share, what they pay towards their health premium, which has been 10% for years, is going 11% first year, 12% second year, 12.5% the third year. So it was, I'd say, a very successful negotiation cost-wise, and from what I hear, they're pleased.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Full disclosure, in salary as well, in years 2 and 3, they are receiving a 30-cent per hour increase as well. Because they are, in comparison to other, although Kathy and Cindy, you've seen, when we go into bargaining, of course, we always say, you're on the high side. But in reality, this would bring them to parity with other towns similar to ours in years 2 and 3. They're going to get additional 30 cents plus there.
No, I think that was my answer to what was the concession to get them to.
Well, the concession was the salary, and they took a while to come along. The high deductible plan is so much to the town's advantage that it was all we were offering. And they wouldn't even talk about it for quite a while. So it cost a lot in legal to get them there. The police had higher salary increases, but they only took 4 hours to bargain their whole contract. They
I
saved
didn't
us
have to do.
thousands in legal fees. So there was some reward for that there. This took longer, 2 mediation sessions actually, which means we'll pay for a mediator as well. But well worth the savings in the long run. And supervisors were last year. These, I think, we extended last year, which brought, because we didn't want them on the same time as the supervisors. So then it kind of clumped this group together all at once, and our plan would have been to try to, get that off of them.
I just want to mention that, see, I attended most of the sessions, not all, and then Denise and our lawyer, Josh, this was a tremendous job for us. They really, really look out for us, and they hang in there, and really interesting process.
I have to agree. I mean, I didn't have to do police because they were so quick this year, so that worked out to my benefit. But when I did do it the other year, I cannot say, first of all, Denise, the job that she did, and the fantastic job that Josh Tonopoulos does. He is an asset to this community and for really bad. All right, anything else? on
So
that part?
just waiting for all the signatures to be in place, and then we can start the process of getting the retro finance.
All right, any questions of Kim on that, or? All right, letter D, letter of resignation from Mr. Maynard for, us, for the Board of Finance. Just, dear Joanna, must tender my resignation, you all have it, from the East Windsor Board of Finance, effective immediately. So, my question to this though, which lended itself to a little confusion, is he is also liaison to the pension board. And he is a voting member of the pension board. Now, in talking to Joanne, she did not feel that he needed to put a separate letter of resignation in because he was that through the Board of Finance, and that he will no longer be on the Board of Finance, and it will be our job to then vote somebody else on again. So it made sense to me. I guess Joanne should know.
Yeah, I think
Go
that
on her
makes
judgment. I
sense.
would think that she would leave me, Mr. But we'll
And
double check it.
he's, now the advisor to the.
Well,
pension board.
yeah.
Sex
So
officio
there you go.
anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly, so it doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we need an official letter of resignation from the pension board, but since we do have the chairman of the pension board here, I can ask the board to confirm.
I'm fine with accepting that as his, because it's an appointed position through, that needs to be a member of the Board of Finance. He's not a member of the Board of Finance, so that's,
Correct. And since we're accepting this letter of resignation, I guess it's a good time to kind of bring in some of the stuff that we need to talk about. And I don't think we really need to do it immediately, we can do it at next month's, can we, when's the next pension board meeting?
January.
Yeah, okay, we got some next, we can do this next month's meeting. We'll put it on the agenda to appoint people to certain boards. We will need 2 people from the Board of Finance. I am already on it, so I am fine with staying. If you guys are fine with that, we can discuss that next month. We'll need somebody else, so you guys think about that, decide. Okay, well, we'll talk, Kathy put it up there and we can discuss it next month. I think we also need to discuss, I don't think we really need to go as far out as the selectmen go, but I think it's kind of critical that we need to talk about somebody being our liaison to the Board of Ed. I just think it's really critical and really important, so I want you guys to keep that in your hat to discuss. And maybe you guys have some ideas of where you think we need to have a little more of our presence there, so that'll be on next month's agenda, go with that next month. So I would say there's a motion on the table to accept Mr. Maynard's letter of resignation, or can you put a motion? Yeah, can you put a motion? Or what
Mr.
it-
Maynard's letter of resignation with regret.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Oh, any discussion?
No.
Oh, okay.
Fine with it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion clearly passes. Okay, so that brings us to letter E. We have to talk about filling the vacancy, and the procedure I asked him to help me out with because due to our charter, things get really convoluted sometimes because the charter on some is very specific, and then on others, they just throw it over to state statute, say follow state statute. So, in our case, it says charter, any vacancy in an elected town office excluding the Board of Education and Board of Finance shall be filled within 45 days by the Board of Selectmen. It says the Board of Finance and the Board of Education shall fill vacancies in their said boards in accordance with the Connecticut General Statute. Therefore, go to the Connecticut General Statute, it says, filling of vacancies in case of a vacancy in the membership of the Board of Finance unless otherwise provided by charter, which is or a special act, as far as I know we have no special act. The remaining members of the board shall, at a special meeting called by the chairman for that purpose by a majority vote, appoint a successor who shall serve until the next town election until his successor is elected and has qualified. The next town election following the occurrence of such vacancy, the electors shall elect a successor to fill the vacancy for the unexpired portion of the term, and the office to be filled shall be designated on the official ballot by the word to fill vacancy for, followed by the duration of the expired term. So, that said, the funny part is it doesn't say anything about it having to do it within 45 days, like the charter does, and then the statute. So, but I would like to do it and do it quickly because kind of today, both our alternates are in and that is fantastic. But we also have Bob Little, who has been out for quite a long time with illness. So we have been appointing an alternate every single meeting for probably a year or more. So I think it's really critical that we have members that are here and on top of everything. So we're going to have to set a special meeting between us. I've looked, I can't find anything, maybe Denise you can help me, that says that I have to post it anywhere, or, I mean, we have to post our special meeting, but we don't have to post in the paper that we have an open position on the board or any of that kind of stuff. So the only thing that we have to do is post our special meeting for the purpose of putting on a new board of finance member. So I guess if you could all kind of look at your calendars, and we're gonna have to do that tonight probably. The process is that a person needs to fill out an application, put it into your to the selectman's office, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then if you could find out for us.
Yeah, I'll
I
get
know
the information.
that we've had one application and that is fantastic, so we will set that special meeting date where, we'll interview the candidates and vote on it that night, so.
And the position has to be filled by,
The statute isn't very specific, but we've always gone on that, and I am really not gonna be able to work consistent.
I think
Right now.
there's law around that.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
I
It
If
doesn't
it's an
say it
elected-
in here,
If it's an
but.
elected position, you need to appoint the same as what the electors appoint.
But let's see, the charter refers,
The charter doesn't
but
say
the charter refers us to Connecticut General Statute, so we would have to look at Connecticut General Statute, which Kim and I said,
I think
We're not gonna go down that road
that's how
anyways.
it's
We're
always
not
done
gonna
everywhere,
mess with
is the same
Harlem.
parties filling elected.
There may also be a legal opinion, you might ask, someone in my office.
I think everybody's in agreement that that's just the way that it should be.
But
done.
also,
just
as
as
far
far
as
as-
alternates, the statute does not address alternates. Alternates, there was some controversy about it, and I think there's a legal opinion on that.
We are gonna look for
That
that.
it is appointed by the
Or,
board.
yeah, we
The
have to look
alternates
for that.
are.
Okay, all I could see was where it said in the charter that board, in the charters of Board of Finance.
Right.
But then I think in the charter somewhere it says alternates by itself. I don't know where, I
Okay,
mean, this is
we'll
where
look
it
it up.
gets foggy,
Yeah,
so
I
that's
think
where we have to
It might have been either John McKenna or even Stephen Penny. It's a while back when it was that.
Now remember too, Paulette
Make sure
and
we
Lewis, as
follow.
alternates, you definitely have the ability to apply for the position if that's something you wanna do. So, just keep it in your hat.
I thought we were like, consider.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Boswell.
Just in the interest of saving you guys all an extra night out, why don't you just notice a special meeting for 10 minutes before your next regular meeting?
That's what I was gonna
We
suggest.
could.
Great minds think alike.
Good idea, thank you. Which is December,
Say,
I
maybe
know.
we could do it like at
December.
6:30.
Oh, yeah. Here.
beginning of
Nope.
December is really bad.
Yeah, so if we did it like for 6:30 before the meeting.
Wow, Ken, you might be. Oh, no, we
not
don't, we still
for
start at
January.
7. All right, yeah, okay, special meeting at 6:30 and a regular meeting at 7. The 16th.
Just a quick question. There's no way to force out a member on the board?
They are an elected official elected by the town, and they would have to resign themselves.
Or be convicted of a felony.
Or move out of town.
Okay. But is there any chance that as a board, we can send a letter to Mr. Little, ask him what his current status, and if he'd like to consider, or at least notify us what his plans are?
Yep, we probably could do that, that's something we can discuss. I would say let's see Mr. Maynard's position, and then let's tackle that second position after we see. Mr.
Well,
Maynard's
I was kind of hoping that we send that message now, and we tell him we're already scheduling a special session to fill in another seat. If he'd like to resign, here's let us know so we can do, can't kill two birds with one stone. So we-
Yeah,
No pressure.
yeah, my personal opinion. That, I know you guys can discuss it, because that's what we're here, is filling vacancies and discussing those vacancies. I don't think that that's something that I mean, you guys have to discuss it, I mean, it's something you could vote on, but I really think that's walking a fine line. But you guys are, I'm not the only one that can discuss it.
I'm not entirely comfortable with sending him a letter, just knows the status he wants to.
He's done this for years. Yeah, he has been a member of this board prior to this for years. So my opinion on it is that if he truly wanted to resign, he would have resigned by now. It is an elected position, and the town voted into it, and the RTC put him up to be voted into it. It's also maybe something that can be brought up at your next RTC meeting too, as a part of the Republican team. Yeah, it's called team.
That's why he gets the big bucks.
It's a big plus, yes. So are you comfortable with the 6:30 time for the special meeting and the 7 for the?
I feel like we're lucky to see that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make sure as soon as they come in, I'll get them up to you guys.
During that process too, can people be nominated from, it's not like a normal, somebody could come up that night though and just say they're interested, right, during that process? So remember that too, we could get applications in, but somebody could just walk in that night and say they're interested and say they.
On the board of selectmen, we always ask them to fill out the application form with 3 references. You know, that there's a form out now.
Yep.
Everybody that's applied for anything that the board of selectmen vote on, that way you have their reasoning
Everything.
why,
Yep.
their.
Oh, yeah, definitely, even if they came in that night, okay, yeah.
At the very least, that should be required.
Yep.
I actually called the references. Wasn't horrible.
Yeah. Oh, Jason.
So, alright, that brings us on to, alright, so I don't think we need to do a motion for a special meeting. Absolutely.
Right now, is there any other applications?
Not as far as I know. Right now, it's an open position. I know that Mr. Smith has filled out one. I don't know anybody else that has. But they've got a whole, they have a whole month, so. Any other?
Louis, would you like to give me a personal email to use for now until we get your town email set up so you can get the applications?
Yes,
can make it
after the
easy.
meeting, I'll
Okay.
do that.
And remember too, up your town emails because you really don't want to use personal emails, because if anything legal would happen, your personal account would then become not so private. So I would suggest too, you could, Gmail's easy to create one on. If you want to create one on, just temporarily, just like to get the town stuff until they get your emails, you can do that too. I'm just putting that out to you. Anything else in that section? All right, now we're on to number 10, which is our section of board member comments for really, it's kind of out there to add anything from anybody. I'll start because I tried to figure out where to put it in the beginning. There was really no place for me to put this. To welcome everybody aboard, which you both did wonderfully for me anyway. But welcome to Bill and welcome to Louis, and I'm glad to be sharing the table with these ladies again too. So I think this will be a great board. It has in the past, the last handful of years, and I think that it will be again. One of the things I kind of want to recommend, and it's completely up to you guys, but I kept meaning to do it last time, I kept forgetting, but I really like to start with, like when the board selectmen start their meeting with the pledge of allegiance. It just is a good thing in my mind. If you guys don't want to, you don't have to, but it's really up to you guys. Anybody in favor or opposed? Or
Absolutely in favor.
I think it's great.
with that? Okay. So when we do our agenda, if we can just, after the call of order and time and place, do that. Thanks. Yeah. Well, that's really all I have to say right now. Anybody else?
They actually had a transfer from their police private duty fund into their CNR line, $45,000 was approved by the police commission. Yeah, it was just a couple days ago. They got it to the police private.
Good. As long as we get everything else out there. Anybody else?
Welcome to the new members. These are not written by you.
We'll do it. I wouldn't call that a threat. Or people threaten me that way.
I think virgin orange screwdrivers.
And I guess is a sign. All right, is that it? Okay, so, and then my last comment is, number one, thank you so much for coming tonight and being here to finish our loose ends. And I cannot thank you enough for everything you've done for me personally. This was a rocky road when I first started, and you made me have a much smoother road, a much better understanding, and thank you for everything you've done for this town.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. I remember the day I moved here, I decided to come by your office and just ask, is there anything I can do to volunteer? And you were so nice, you were so helpful. I think you hinted that you should run it first, but you were so welcoming, so I probably wouldn't be here without your initial guidance, so thank you so much.
Here come next month, too, right?
Well, you probably should ask the new guy next month.
He's not here, is he?
No.
You can't ask him.
See if you need me, if there's history kind of stuff.
I know. What's today's date?
The 18th.
We have to make a motion to pick it.
Nope, and that was another thing discussed, that we really don't have to make a motion to pay Peg, because what am I gonna do, not pay her?
No, I took it off and then.
Yeah. We kind of just sign at the end of the meeting and pay Peg her money for doing a fantastic job for us. So thank you again, Peg. Oh, I can't pay Peg, see? All right, again, thank you guys for number one, volunteering for this position. It is not an easy position, by any stretch of the imagination. We are going soon into our budget process, which will become a very interesting.
Everybody gets
Time.
to know each other much better.
Yeah, we'll know each other much better by the end of that. And one of the things to prepare to do this, because we do sit and look at the budget, after it's been perused by the selectmen, after it's been torn apart by them. I think it's really critical for everybody. I know that one of our old chairmans, that's gone, used to say, well, you know, for the new people, it's not just for the new people, it should be for all of us. Where a lot of the hard work happens is the Board of Selectmen meetings, where they initially first get the budget and they tear it apart. Because nobody realizes by the time it gets to us how torn apart it's already been, and how scaled back it's already been. And it helps you when it comes to here to know exactly what they're asking for, exactly what's been put into it to build it. So, I just want to put that out to you, that's what kind of adds to it. So,
Yeah,
all right.
it's really beneficial for me to go to the workshops.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't make all of them, but, you know, if you want to try to make as many of them as possible. I almost forgot this. Before we end, a general annual report that's missing a couple sections, that Paulette and Kathy are still working on, has been put together. Has been put together. I have 3 copies. We want to know if there's 3 sets of eyes that would like to reread again for typos, mistakes, bad grammar, or whatever.
I want to go there.
Okay. You do this. Anybody else?
When do you need to check on it?
I really am hoping by the end of the week to get it to
Yeah,
her.
we have to, by the end of the week, she needs to get it to the printer.
Can I
So,
write this or?
Yep, that's
Absolutely,
yours.
and you can, you know, either email me any quick changes or drop it off, whatever works.
Bill, you want? All right,
Thank you,
so
Cynthia.
just,
Great job.
you can give Kim a buzz or shoot her an email. Kim will make sure to give everybody her email and, let her know that it's good, bad, and different. All right, anything else from anybody else? All right, so do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.